Hey, welcome back to the homestead. So this is part 3 of building a homemade egg incubator for chickens and ducks. It's all finished, including the humidifier. And I promised I would that this video I'd reveal the way I said I was going to be creative for the humidifier. So we'll start off with building the humidifier and having it done. I'll show you the testing and where we're at temperature wise and all that. And then I'm going to sum it up with a total price list of what I've got in this thing total. So I'll be back here in a minute. So I found humidity pins on Amazon, but they're extremely expensive. Several of them required $220 to run them, and even the ones I found that were $110 were like $70, $80. And I thought there's got to be a cheaper way. So I was on the phone with my brother-in-law. We got brainstorming, and to his credit, actually, he thought of this. He said, why not see if you can find a cheap electric skillet? Great idea. Well, I checked all the thrift stores and Goodwill and everything I could find around here. Nobody had one, but I did find one for just 20 bucks on Amazon, and I did find a float valve on Amazon. So we're going to start off by drilling a hole in the side of the electric skillet for the float valve. It's an aluminum skillet, so it drills real easy. Okay, there's the hole. And there's the float valve installed in the pan. That took all of about 20 seconds. Okay, so and then I got a 5-gallon bucket that'll be my exterior water supply. And I got to drill a hole in it, but I want to keep it up a little bit because when I got the fittings, it doesn't screw on real tight. I mean, all the way. There's a little bit of a gap. I'm gonna show you here what I'm talking about. So, this fitting here will go outside the bucket, and then I got this threaded fitting to go inside, but it doesn't screw on all the way against that nut. I don't think the bucket's thick enough, so to make up the difference, I got some flat washers, 3/4 inch, that will fit over here to take up some space, and I got some rubber washers. So I'm gonna, and so the point being, when I drill a hole, I have to drill it high enough that this washer, it has to be that much at least above the bottom of the bucket to get the washer on. So I'm going to drill a hole and I'll show you what I'm doing here. Okay, a little Teflon tape on the float valve fitting. So I thought I'd explain this too. That's the humidifier that I used in the other incubator. And it worked great. It held plenty of humidity, except it's got a 1/2-gallon tank. And what happened was, one night it was cool, early spring, and the humidity was very low, so it took a lot of water from the humidifier to keep the humidity up in the incubator, and at 3 or 4 in the morning it ran out of water and shut off. By the time I came out here at 7:30 or 8 o'clock to check on it, the humidifier was empty of water, shut off, and the humidity level in the incubator was 22%, I believe it was. And it had been like that for a while, and that's what shrink wrapped all my babies. I don't want that to ever happen again. So, this will be 4.5 gallons of water, which will last probably several days in most cases. I'll just keep that water level up, and it'll have what it needs to use. So anyway, so there's the assembly there. I got a shutoff valve. I forgot to mention that. Um, I got to hook it up yet to that fitting. I just was watching for leaks, and it did leak. You can see the workbench is wet, which is why I did this outside of the incubator. But I just needed to tighten that fitting a little better, a little more, and it, I think, stopped. I'm going to check it again here in a minute. Okay, so I adjusted the float valve, and it shut off. And there's about an inch of water in the pan, which is fine. It's enough. It'll, as soon as it starts to go down a little bit, it'll kick back on and bring it back to that level. All right, now we're going to drill a hole in the incubator and put it in there. Okay, so there is the humidifier in the incubator. I think it's working okay. I'm not seeing anything wet, so I think we're good. So I'm going to fire it up now and let it go up to temperature and reach humidity. And the humidity may not even need to run. It's pretty humid outside today, but we'll see if it comes up to temperature anyway. Okay, so we're starting off at 73.2 degrees and 74.9% humidity. It actually looks like it's going up a little bit. I've got the humidity set at like 74%. So the electric skillet probably won't even kick on, but there's water in there, so it may raise the humidity a little bit. If it was this humid, I had eggs in there, I just would shut that shut-off valve off and leave the skillet go empty so it doesn't add more. But we're just testing, so I'm not worried about that right now. There's something interesting. I put a kilowatt meter on there just out of curiosity with the egg turners and the heat lamps, and I don't know, the electric skillet probably isn't running because the humidity's already high, but the whole incubator is drawing 2.56 amps, which isn't bad. Okay, temperature's coming up and humidity's dropping, which makes sense because warm air holds more moisture than cold air. The skillet would kick on if it gets down to 48%. And I got the settings set where I'll keep it for incubating, not hatching, not for lockdown. So it's set at like 51% to kick on, or to kick off, and 48% to kick on. Oh, and one other thing I have totally forgot to mention this whole time. So when it comes to lockdown time, I've got this Tupperware basket, and I'll put a doggy puppy pad in the bottom of it. I will pull whatever egg turner is due to hatch or due to go into lockdown. I'll pull that egg turner out, and that tray sits in on the shelf in place of the egg turner during lockdown. So the incubator is both a hatcher and both a setter and a hatcher. So that's where we're at. We're still coming up. I'll be back in a minute. All right, so I just came back out to see where we were at, and we've reached the set point. So we're at 100 degrees and 68.5% humidity, which is why it's dark. The lights shut off to stop the heat, and they'll kick back on when it gets down to, I think I have it set at 98.5. So the eggs will average 99, 99.5. I might bump that up to 101 for the shut off, and $99 maybe for the startup. But right now we're just in the testing phases. So there you have it. Okay, so as promised, here's a basic rundown of the cost I have in it. It came to $447, but you could save a few bucks. You could do it for around $400. For example, I used the glass, which is expensive for a glass door, and you could just use MDF for a door. You don't have to see in there. That'd save 50 bucks. You might find a skillet for the humidifier at a thrift store or Goodwill or something for maybe 5 or 10 bucks, which would save another $10 or so. I had the egg turners, didn't have to buy them. You could buy 2 egg turners and add additional later, so you could save another 100 bucks there to get started. There's places you can cut corners. You may have some parts around. I had wire, I had of course the glass door from the other incubator, I had the egg turners already, I had the lamp bases, sockets, so anyway, that's it. So 400 bucks you can build an incubator that'll do a really good job for you. So thanks for following along with this project. It was kind of fun to do. I appreciate you watching my videos, and if you enjoyed it, please give a thumbs up and subscribe, and hit the notification bell and come back and see the next project. We'll be hatching ducks, and I hope I'll see you next video.